Bullies thought she was an easy target. They mocked her, humiliated her, and took every chance to make her feel small. But what they didn't know was that this quiet girl was holding back something they could never imagine. And the day she finally unleashed it would change everything at Crestwood Academy. Lenore Briarwood leaned against the cold, weathered brick of the old gymnasium wall, her gaze fixed on the swirling chaos of students spilling through the hallways. 6 months in Vermont's prestigious Crestwood Academy, and she still felt like a misplaced shadow in a painting, present but never belonging. Her mother's promotion had uprooted them from Boston, and here, in this small-town fortress of tradition and cliques, Lenore's pale skin, reserved nature, and soft Boston lilt made her stand out in all the wrong ways. Barely 5'2", with a slender build that looked fragile enough to break in a strong breeze, Lenore had learned early that invisibility was survival. Back in Boston, she'd been just another student blending into the crowd. Here she was the new girl, an uninvited guest in an unspoken social order. She adjusted a stray lock of auburn hair behind her ear, clutching her history binder as though it could shield her. That was when the voice came, sharp, cold, cutting right through her thoughts. Bethany Sinclair stood in her path, all 5'9" of smug athletic confidence, wrapped in a designer sweater. Captain of the field hockey team, 4-time regional champion, and self-proclaimed gatekeeper of Crestwood's social hierarchy. Her two constant shadows, Tiffany Grant and Chantel Dubois, hovered just behind her, Tiffany with her ever-ready phone, Chantel with a smile that could cut glass. Lenore tried to slip past. "Excuse me, I need to get to class." Bethany's laugh was brittle. "Did you hear that? She thinks she's important." She stepped closer, perfume suffocating, eyes glittering with challenge. "This is Crestwood, darling. We have standards." "I am being standard," Lenore murmured, barely audible. "Not hardly," Tiffany smirked, stepping forward, phone already recording. "Say something in Latin for the camera." "I'm not from Rome. I'm from Massachusetts," Lenore replied without thinking, the edge in her voice surprising even herself. Regret instantly followed. Chantel's painted lips curved into something predatory. "From Massachusetts? Prove it. Name all the presidents." The crowd grew, phones aimed like weapons. Heat rose up Lenore's neck, an old familiar humiliation from years past. She tried to sidestep again, but Bethany's hand clamped onto her arm. "Actually, you do have something to prove. This is our school, our hallway, our rules." Lenore's free hand curled, a reflex from hours spent in her father's basement studio, holding a violin bow with disciplined control. His voice echoed in her mind. "Poise, Lenore. Skill without poise is just noise." She forced herself to relax. "Let go of me." Bethany's grip tightened. "Or what? You'll run crying to mommy? Oh, wait, she's working late again tonight, isn't she?" The words stung deeper than any slap. Lenore pulled free and walked away, Bethany's laughter trailing behind her like a pack of hyenas. Lunch brought no respite. Sitting alone in a far corner of the cafeteria, Lenore had barely taken a bite when Bethany's shadow loomed again. "Well, if it isn't our favorite transplant, how's the food, Lenore? Not too bland?" Before Lenore could respond, Bethany's accidental elbow tipped her milk across her tray, soaking her salad and clothes. Laughter rippled across the cafeteria. Lenore stood slowly, milk dripping from her skirt, gathered her lunch, and walked to the bathroom under a hail of jeers. In the mirror, she studied her reflection, blue eyes stormy, hands trembling with repressed rage. Poise had kept her safe this long, but poise was beginning to feel like a cage. The breaking point came 3 days later in the library. Lenore was tucked away with a novel when Jillian Foster appeared, warm smile, kind eyes, and a seat beside her. They spoke of books, city life versus small towns, and Jillian's struggles in English lit. For the first time in months, Lenore felt the ice around her begin to thaw. Then the storm arrived. Bethany, Tiffany, and Chantel approached like thunderclouds. "Looks like the wallflower found a friend," Bethany said, her voice dripping with mockery. Tiffany blocked their path. "We like to know who people associate with. Says a lot about them." Bethany plucked Lenore's novel from the table, flipping through it. Your little manifesto. Cute. Does Daddy teach you to rebel or just to play pretty music for rich people? Lenore's chest tightened. Give that back. Bethany held it higher. Beg for it. I'm not going to beg. Pages tore. Her favorite story, her sanctuary, lay shredded on the floor. Something inside Lenore shifted. Calm, deliberate, she picked up the pieces, squared her shoulders, and met Bethany's eyes. You're going to regret that, laughter faltered. Tiffany stepped forward. Lenore's stance changed, balanced, ready. Years of muscle memory flowed into place. Bethany reached for Lenore's scarf. In one swift motion, Lenore deflected, struck Bethany's wrist, and shoved her backward. Gasps filled the library. Tiffany lunged. Lenore sidestepped, twisted her arm, and sent her crumpling to the floor. Chantel froze, retreating. Miss Davidson, the librarian, appeared just in time to see Bethany on the floor. Jillian stepped in. Bethany tripped. Nods rippled through the crowd, some even smiling faintly at Lenore. In the days that followed, the atmosphere at Crestwood changed. Bethany returned, subdued. Tiffany and Chantel quiet. Students nodded at Lenore in the halls. Teachers noticed her. Even the groundskeeper told her he was proud. But the biggest change was inside her. She walked taller. Her gaze met others. She no longer mistook quiet for weakness, nor would anyone else. Weeks later, she overheard Bethany telling her friends, being powerful doesn't mean hurting people weaker than you. She could have really hurt me, and she didn't. That's real power. Lenore felt no gloating, only a strange compassion. Growth often came at the cost of someone else's pain. That evening, walking out into the Vermont sunshine with Jillian asked, what made you finally fight back? Lenore thought of her torn book, her father's lessons, and the moment she decided enough was enough. I realized silence wasn't protecting me anymore. It was erasing me. Bethany, enraged, charged again. Lenore pivoted, hooked her knee, and sent her sprawling. Silence swallowed the room. If you've ever faced someone who tried to make you feel small, remember, strength isn't about hurting back. It's about standing your ground, protecting what matters, and knowing your worth. Have you ever had a moment where you finally stood up for yourself? Share your story in the comments. And if Lenore's journey inspired you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more stories like this, and share it with someone who needs to hear it.